The typical section is a front view of the pavement structure from top of cut to toe of slope. Imagine a road like a 2x4 piece of wood. If you cut the wood in half and look at the front of the face where you cut, you can see all the grain layers. The typical section is similar if you cut the road in half and look at the cut. You will see the different layers and materials. The typical section begins with the center line of survey or construction reference line, CRL, which is flanked by sections measured in feet and inches. These sections are divided up as the driving lanes, the shoulders, the backfills, the safety slope, and ditch, each showing the respective widths. On the left side of the typical, beyond the backfill, is the fill slope, and on the right side of the typical, beyond the backfill, is the foreslope, ditch bottom, and back slope. The cut and fill can be on either side of the typical, dependent upon the existing ground and finish grade. The area between the fill slope and the foreslope is the roadbed. This is where the roadway resides. Here you can find the percent of slope, layers of asphalt or concrete, tack coat, prime coat, limits of lime pre-treatment, fly ash stabilized subgrade, initial grading width, and grading width as shown on cross sections. Located directly below the typical are stations that dictate limits of construction and a chart depicting thickness and types of asphalt in both the lanes and shoulders. Occasionally, the typical section sheet will have additional typical drawings, such as a detour typical, guardrail widening typical, and a rounding detail. Located on the typical section, you may find numbers which correspond to notes located on the typical section sheet. Most commonly, these notes will convey information concerning backfill, topsoil, and measurements. The typical section is used as the design template for the cross sections. The line labeled "grade to this line" represents the same line or template used on the cross section.